Hello. Welcome to this video of something I kind of want to talk about. I've been thinking a lot about, especially recently. Today we just had the Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, not Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 reveal. Call of Duty 4, that was a long time ago, but no. we're going to talk about. So come into the context of what we're talking about here, as you probably saw from the headline. What happened to knifing in shooters? Seriously, what happened to knifing in shooters? Still okay aspects here and there, but knifing used to mean something in shooters. Back in Call of Duty and Battlefield as well. It kind of means something here in Rainbow Six Siege. Means a little, somewhat in, say, some of this Battle Royale stuff with PUBG and Fortnite, but melee in shooters used to mean something, meaning that you were either stealthy enough or the opponent was just horribly shooting enough to where they could get close enough to you to where you could stab them. Melee used to mean something, especially even in Call of Duty and Battlefield, but it's gone on the decline on a lot of aspects, including in those games. The only place it kind of means something, is in Rainbow Six Siege, and even there it has its issues, because like I said, knifing used to mean something in shooters, but it's been on the decline, and I would even say in Rainbow Six Siege there are some issues there. Now, get into it. Let's first talk about, say, Call of Duty. Call of Duty used to be one-hit knife combat kind of game. If you were close enough to your opponent, if you stabbed them from any direction, it meant something. But nowadays, if you just melee them just regularly, it won't do like a hit, but then you kind of have to hit them again. By that time, they've shot you and killed you. So, like, the fact that you have to do like 2 melees hits to kill them, on average, it just doesn't really do you any good. Your best bet is just to shoot them. Because the thing is with the melee is they've added in like a melee weapon section, and that's like part of your secondary area, like your pistol or your rocket launcher, whatever. It's part there now, which I find to be really fucking stupid, seriously, because they made melee into a joke. Call of Duty turned melee into a fucking joke, seriously. What the fuck, guys? Seriously, what the fuck? Like I said, melee used to mean something. Either you were good enough to get close to your opponent to knife them, or they were just shitty enough at shooting to allow you to get close enough to melee them. Seriously. Or it was just you were unlucky enough too. Possibility if they were being unlucky, like you were in the middle of reloading, or you were out of ammo, or just whatever. You were in your kill streak on Call of Duty, but melee used to just mean something, especially in Call of Duty, but it turned it into a fucking joke. And we'll see, hopefully they've improved it and pretty much put it back the way it was in Black Ops 4, but I doubt that. Seriously, melee used to mean something. We'll see what it means in the Black Ops 4 Battle Royale. Yes, they have Battle Royale. If you haven't seen, I have a React video, link in the description below to the whole Call of Duty 4 reveal. If you haven't seen that, also there's a link in the description to the reveal. But moving on, as well as Battlefield used to have melee mean something. It's like, granted, you were in this kind of what would it be? Taken out of control, cinematic almost knife. Like you were looking at somebody, you grabbed them by the dog tags, you knifed them, and you pulled the dog tags. You got their dog tags, but you could do that from any angle. It used to be that way. It is now. You kind of have to do that from the back. You have to like come up from behind them to do that. As well as with Battlefield, it seems as well as with Battlefield, what Call of Duty did is they turned it into a fucking joke. Seriously, Battlefield, what the fuck happened? Because now they have so many different knives and shit. But if you stab somebody from the front, it does damage, but it's not an instant kill as well. What the fuck happened, guys? Call of Duty, Battlefield, what the fuck happened to melee? It used to mean something in your games, and now you just turned melee into a fucking joke. Seriously. Granted, I know these are, like I said, shooters. Well, I'm not sure if I did say that or not, whatever, but, these are games. These are shooter games. They're supposed to be about the guns, but, like I said, if you were good enough, stealthy enough, or just wiggly enough to get to your opponent to knife them. Or, they were shitty enough, or they're out of ammo, you're just unlucky, Melee used to mean something, and Call of Duty and Battlefield just turned it into a fucking joke. Seriously, guys, with Call of Duty, with Battlefield, your next generation, your first time, seriously, stop having your melee combat be a fucking joke. Seriously, stop it. I just don't. I mean, seriously, it's as big as a joke as melee combat in PUBG, because it's a joke there. Seriously, because PUBG's aspects of it being a joke is like, that's if you can hit somebody. It's like you better have a chance of hitting them in the PC version, but with the Xbox version, there's a reason why people don't much try to get into melee fights and instead of try to go for a weapon. It's because a lot of times you're not getting much contact, dude. It's like you really gotta hit a person, and you're using your fists too. So it's a joke there because it's hard for one to get a hit with just the mechanics itself, as well as just the way their servers and everything work. It's like the time delay and whatnot. It's just a fucking joke. Seriously, and that's the third game's a joke. And you wanna know where there's also a joke kind of in? Rainbow Six Siege. And people say, how is it a joke there? It's a one-hit thing. Go on to YouTube, find at least 5 videos of funny or just like jokey moments of stuff that happens in like a compilation of different clips from different players of like funny and wacky moments on Rainbow Six Siege, and I swear to God, if you look through all 5, one point throughout this, I mean that there's a lot of videos, you always see like this joke of like somebody missing them with a melee, even though they're like right on them, because the hit registrations for the melee in Rainbow Six Siege itself like works half the fucking time, because let's be real here, Ubisoft, you gave 2 shits about the melee combat in your game. Seriously, I understand, again, it is a shooter and the basis is around the guns, but they have the mechanics in where it's like it's a 1 melee kill, but it's a toss-up whether or not you're actually gonna melee them. So good luck. Showing Ubisoft still as being stupid as they fucking are. People love Rainbow Six Siege, but let's be real here. The melee combat in Rainbow Six Siege is a fucking joke. It is. Because it's happened to me, and it's happened to many players where it's like, I try to melee somebody, I'm right on them, no contact. There was like a game where what we were playing on, I think it was Consonant Map, whatever, where you have the garage, and it's like everybody's just doing that bandit trick there, where the snowmobile garage, and you have the other garage back on the side, and you have the kitchen where people outside like to peek through the window. That one? Well, I was over by the door to the right of the kitchen. I was right where that like big double door is, where the staircase goes up. Sorry for anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I was like right there, and there was like a person, there was a Kafira interrogating a teammate there, and I went up to her to melee her because she was just standing up after the interrogation. She got it off, but she was standing up, and I went to melee her, and for a reason I gunbutt the wall. Like, the fuck? Ubisoft, the fuck? Seriously. I swear I have that probably on my clips somewhere of my Rainbow Six Siege moments and shit, but seriously, what the fuck? People, I mean, it's less of a joke there in Rainbow Six Siege than it is in like Call of Duty, Battlefield, and PUBG. But it's got its issues. Seriously, melee combat needs to be worked perfectly, like you would want the guns to work perfectly. Seriously. And granted, I mean, Ubisoft with the Rainbow Six Siege itself is a joke. There's like a lot of times where there's just such issues. I mean, I've only seen it happen on the PC side, where it's like people running around with the reinforcement acting like, or a shield or something, like they're running around, it's like it's on them even though they don't see it, or it's like, Bandit shooting with his freaking ability or whatever, it's like, there are issues in that game, really. But, and the other aspects of also melee combat, I think in the place that is most balanced is in Fortnite. Now, not to say that it doesn't have its issues, I think it does, in my opinion. I think there is a little bit of an imbalance to it, and being that with the melee being the only thing you can use is your pickaxe in melee, because it's the only melee aspects there, and like you're swinging it, and it's also used to deconstruct things to get you material. Because if you haven't played Fortnite, it's kind of like, say, Minecraft meets PUBG, in which, you need to break down materials that you collect, and you can build walls, floors, ceilings, staircases, whatnot, But it's also, with that pickaxe, is what your melee weapon is, and only. But I think the issue there is, it does just a little bit too much damage. I'm not saying a lot of damage, I'm just saying just a fraction of the damage that they need to reduce. Between, say, 1 and 3 hit points. Because it's a good constant swing. It's like a constant swinging over and over and over again. And have good contact with them. I mean, you can be like about a foot away from somebody and still be hitting them with the pickaxe. You don't need to be right on them, like, say, with PUBG. I mean, I've been, like, in a person in PUBG, hitting them, and still not made contact. It's the dumbest shit. But in Fortnite, you can be, like, a foot away from them and be hitting them with the pickaxe. And it's, like I said, it's a good constant swing. It never changes. There's no, like, exhaustion from it. There's no, like, you can jump and, like, do a high damage hit. Like, you can hold it and do, like, the more you hold it, the more damage you do in that hit. No, it's a constant swing. But I think with that swing at the rate at which you can hit somebody, and with the damage output that it does, is there's like I think it's like what, somewhere between 8 and 10 damage per hit. So that's a lot of hits you can get on a person before, like not a lot. That's actually like a little too few hits you can get on a person before you can kill them. Like it's a good size amount of damage you can do with the pickaxe at the rate in which you can hit somebody with the pickaxe. Like I said, I think it just needs to be lowered between 1 and 3 damage. Not much. I don't want to do too much, but I don't want to do too little either. I just want to have, because it needs to be balanced, and I just don't think it's right there yet at the perfect balance. I just don't think so. But it's, against a person. I'm not saying against it. Like I think it's balanced where it works against the material, sure, but I think against a person, the damage is just a bit too high. Just a bit. Just a fraction. Just a bit too much. Because, yes, again, it's about the gunplay, but when you're landing, you're trying to search a chest, and you got somebody just swinging at you with an axe, trying to get the weapon, and they get the weapon. It's like, seriously, it's just like there's too much bullshit randomness in that game, just a bit. And I think the way to better balance it is with the pickaxe. The best way is to just say lower the damage just a bit, just a little bit. Like I said, it could be just 1 damage. It could be 1 damage per swing, and it might be perfectly balanced there. It just might. I think it's just a little bit too much. I'd say just a little bit, because there are times like when you go down and get a weapon, and it's like it could be a sniper, it could be a revolver. It's like, and at some point, especially being on console, you might be the one at a disadvantage. You might have the weapon, but you might be the one at the disadvantage because of what the weapon you have. Seriously, I do have my issues with the game itself, which are my opinions, but I think in the closest fact aspects of what I think the melee in there is there's a bit too much damage, just a bit. Like I said, just a bit. I think in overall, melee combat needs to be better in these games. It just needs to be. Like I said before, melee in shooters used to mean something. It used to mean something. That you were either skilled enough to get close to the person, they were just unskilled enough to let you get close to them, or it was just draw the luck. I mean, it's probably a good combination of everything there, luck and skill and lack of skill in general, of all, just a combination of stuff for you to get the melee on the opponent. But the problem with a lot of this is like, like I said, with Call of Duty and Battlefield, you have to hit them twice, which, by the time you get that second hit off, they've probably done enough damage from their first bit of shooting before you melee them, that with the next bit of shooting before you can melee them again, you're dead. I mean, there's, like I said, luck, skill, and to be involved in to get you to that melee point, but past that, a lot of times that just lessens. It just is like it becomes less. You got lucky enough to melee them to them just like getting the kill on you, because like I said, melee used to mean something. It used to mean something. And seriously, these games need to better their melee combat in different ways here and there. With, like I said, in PUBG. The PUBG, I think the damage is good right there with what they have. I think they just need to better the hit registration to and they're just like granted overall just their servers, of course. Sure. No shocker there. A lot of people just thinking their servers are just shit, and I do not disagree with them one bit. But yeah, overall, melee needs to be just changed in shooters for the better now, because I hate how it's become a joke. Seriously. I understand these are shooters and the guns need to take the forefront, but again, if you're if you're shitty enough to where you somehow could not shoot me enough to kill me before I get to you and melee you, that should mean something for me. That should mean something for me to where I hit you with the melee and kill you, you know? If I got the melee off and I hit you, it should be a kill on you and not like I hit you, you're kind of hurt, and then you melee me and I'm dead. You know, it should mean something that I got good enough, that I was good enough to get close to you to melee you, to do it. And I don't think it should be with the secondary weapon where it's like, okay, I have to switch my secondary weapon and be a knife and knife you, you know? It should be like, I should be able to hit you with the butt of my gun, kill you, and then turn and shoot somebody, you know? Melee used to mean something. It should be that way again, people. It seriously should be that way again. Melee used to mean something in shooters, and they need to do that again. Seriously, Call of Duty, Battlefield, bring your fucking melee combat back to the way it was. I think it's retarded how it was so turned into a joke into these games. It was just so stupid that these developers turned melee combat into a fucking joke. And the main game that did that was Call of Duty. Seriously, Call of Duty turned it into such a fucking joke. Don't believe me? I mean, how many times have they talked about Call of Duty as, say, Advanced Warfare? Not Advanced, what was it? Infinite Warfare? I'm not even sure if it was in there, if it was in Call of Duty Black Ops 3, where you saw, like, this dude with this weird, like clown makeup running around with a fucking shovel, and another dude that's like in some futuristic samurai gear with a sword running around. It's like, you can't tell me that isn't a fucking joke. Seriously. I'm actually going to look online. Hopefully I showed the clip there because I'm going to look for it, but seriously, you cannot tell me that isn't a fucking joke against Melee. Seriously. That is nothing but a fucking joke that Call of Duty made towards Melee. And just in their games in general too, dude. But seriously, combat with, you know, the knives and shooters need to come back to the way they were in Call of Duty Battlefield. Seriously.